Alrighty, we're back and it's time to go into our final series of the evening. And this one, it's got a lot of question marks surrounding it. It's the Hangzhou Spark versus the Shanghai Dragons. Both teams undergoing a couple of changes, as we'll go ahead and jump right into it here. The returning duo of Shai and Guxue.
As the only two returning members from the Hangzhou Spark, and they've retooled every other position. And this is, by the way, the first season. I believe that Hangzhou Spark have a small roster, what's considered a smaller roster, because they actually still have 6 instead of 5, which other teams have 5, but that's fine. They think they can get away with that. We'll see how that season goes. Maybe a little bit later on, they can still pick up some members. For the Hangzhou Spark, though, I mean, look, in the past, this team has gone up to like 12. They've had full 12-man rosters, 10, 11, all of the above. They've had enough members to play through internal scrims. Even last year, where it looked like maybe Spark would have a smaller roster, they ended up still adding in Teru and Neko, who's the coach, into the support lineup a little bit later on. I gotta say, though, when you see the Spark roster, if you're not aware just yet, Shai and Guxue are joined by pretty much all the fleeing Chengdu members from a team that no longer exists realistically. Joining them are going to be Leave and Monk from Chengdu Hunters. 20, I guess, aka Elsa, last played for the Chengdu Hunters, so in a way, he kind of counts in there, and then Thanks joins them from the Valiant.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, a very terrifying roster, just given what we've seen these players be able to do with a very solid core in Shai and Guxue. We'll see what the starting 5 looks like here in just a moment, and see what they've decided to piece together. Because there's a lot of firepower. You think about Leave and Shai being a duo alongside one another, and I think that has to strike terror into just about anyone's heart. And there you have it.
If you miss Chengdu Hunters, the spirit of Chengdu definitely still lives on within this team, and in some ways within the Guangzhou Charge as well, given that Jimmy and Xerneas are still there. But my goodness, I never thought we'd see Leave in pink, but here we are alongside Shai. I mean, this is the dream duo from China that we've been waiting for so long. This is also, by the way, the Team China team for the Overwatch World Cup this year in 2023, alongside far away from the Guangzhou Charge. It's far away plus these 5 members for the World Cup team. So you are actually also seeing the China World Cup team for 2023 play, as well as the Spark team play. But there's a lot to live up to, because Leave was your MVP in 2021. Shai has had 2 breakout years on Hitscan the last 2 years. And beyond that as well, one extra thing that's been added to the Spark lineup that's super important is the return of Coach Ray, who previously coached on Chengdu Hunters on all the successful Chengdu years. Ray was there alongside Leave, and now he's there on the Spark.
I was going to say, very, very good asterisk to tack on there, the successful years for the Chengdu Hunters. You're talking about, oh, the spirit lives on. I think for the side of the Hangzhou Spark fans, they don't want all of the spirit. They want some of it. They want those players, but they don't necessarily want some of the kerfuffle, let's say. That,
you want to leave the zone behind, huh?
Yeah, maybe
you don't like
leave
the zone
behind.
Okay.
I mean, hey, as an unbiased commentator, I'm more than happy to have the zone, but if you're a Hangzhou Spark fan, you probably don't want it. Now, here's one of the teams that has plenty of questions surrounding them as far as who's going to be doing what does this team look like, and how did they perform? Because similarly, lots of changes here to the side of the Shanghai Dragons, and I think the biggest one that has stood out that people have been talking about ever since we found out about it is that Fleta is here once more, but not as a DPS. He is here as a tank player.
And we're seeing some role swaps over the course of the years, and one of the more successful ones that we saw recently was Dante shifting from DPS, specifically flex DPS, onto tank. And Fleta's like, I'm gonna do that as well. Let's see if we can get it 2 out of 2 here in terms of players moving from that DPS onto the tank. But we've seen Dante on that for a full year last year. We have not seen Fleta on tank yet. We don't have any clue. There's no expectation here. We don't actually know what he's gonna bring to the table. At least for the other members, we have some more expectation, because Moon has been kind of cooking in the off-season. I don't know if I like what he's cooking just yet. We'll find out at the end of the 3-course meal. But Moon is back on the Shanghai Dragons once more with a very different looking team. Only Fleta and Bebe returning. This time Bebe, he's only returning as a player coach, so he is technically the 6th member. I don't expect him to really play, because he's mostly coaching on this team alongside Moon. Viper is a standout rookie that did come from O2 Blast. He's one of those new guys coming through on the flex DPS. He replaces Fleta, so that is, I think, some big shoes to fill in. Hisu, well-known prospect. I actually think a highlight of this team.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many question marks around it. I love that you touched on the Dante circumstance, because I was going to bring it up if you did it, but Obviously very different decision-making processes, given that Doom had become a tank. It's like, okay, well, Dante is very proficient at this. We're now going to have him play, tank role when that, is a meta decision that we're going to make. We're going to be running that Doom Fist, and then he kind of, continued to flesh out the rest of that role, and now is fully in that position. For Fleta, this is not the circumstance whatsoever. He's never played anything remotely close to a tank. I think maybe it was Johnson Custer we were talking about it earlier. Somebody was mentioning, okay, you know what? Fleta's a very good Echo player. Normally, like in old metas, you're going to be duping the tanks, so he knows how to play tank. I think it's a hard bit of copium, but I do at least have some faith that Fleta is going to be able to come in here and not look super uncomfortable in the role. He is a high enough caliber player that I can trust that he is going to be able to play this position well. It's more about how does the rest of the team play around him for me. But since we got Shy, of course, we need to talk about Sojourn.
Which we probably won't see. I mean, there's a chance we see the Sojourn, but I would doubt it. I don't think Sojourn is very popular in the current meta, but we'll take a look at some of the stats from last year anyway, because Sojourn was like the hit scan hero for all hit scan players, of which Shy among the top of the world, maybe the best. I mean, depending on who you ask, it basically is Shy. Maybe some people might say Lip, but Lip took a while to warm up, where Shy was dominant the entire way through. 59% charge shot accuracy, I think, is important to look at, because 60% basically became the standard for what a good, like a top level Sojourn was doing last year. And that's including the fact that towards the end of the last season, the rail accuracy continually got nerfed. So if you were able to get anywhere near 60, you were doing very well on Sojourn, because it was getting harder and harder to actually hit those rails. So 59 here is very good, and I still regard Shy as maybe the best Sojourn that we saw last year.
Yeah, well, he's just going to be looking to go ahead and give him a run for his money. We'll see if he's going to be up to task as we wait to get into this and see how these guys are going to clash and what the map set's going to look like.
I mean, as we wait, and we'll wait for the maps as well, I want to bring up the support line, because we didn't really touch up on them. I talked about Bebe slightly and not expecting him to play, because you have Gangnam Jim and Eris. I was going to say, look, maybe would you see Bebe in a double flex support, but you have to remember Gangnam Jim is originally a flex support player as well, so maybe not. And that's a contentious point for this team, because Gangnam Jin didn't have the greatest year on Lucio last year on the NYXL, or, I think ever since his time on the Florida Mayhem, it's been a bit of a downward slide for Gangnam Jin. So he needs to kind of prove that he still has the capability to be a pro player in 2023, when there's other good prospects lying around that you could be picking up, and other main supports were overlooked for Gangnam Jin. And I say main support because I'm fairly certain Gangnam Jin is going to end up being the Brig/Lucio player of this team, given that you do have Eris, who is the far superior flex support player, going to be jumping on the Annas, the Baps, right? And this team also in the off-season had like one of the speed runs of all time in terms of a player signing and a player resignation or letting go of a player in DM, where we expected DM to come through on a flex support as well, because he was announced to the roster as a support, and then very recently he was dropped in favor of Eris. So yeah, he came and went super quickly.
A very long-standing Fleta fan there. I can at least say that they've been watching him since he was on Flash Lux all the way back at Apex. The team that famously went 0-9, and then Fleta still made it into the league amongst a couple other players that were on that lineup. But so long-standing viewer there, long-standing fan for Fleta. We'll see if that carries forward depending on how his tank performance goes, or if they're going to just change their mind after it. You never know. But we do have a little bit of a delay as we wait for Hangzhou Spark to fully get settled and everything. And then we can get things underway and finally figure out, if Shanghai Dragons is playing to expectations, which would be quite unfortunate for them, or if they, much like the Guangzhou Charge, can surprise us with a strong start here. Going back to Gangnam Jin for a moment, I do agree with you. I think that it is kind of time to prove that he, can hit that level, that he can be dominant in his role, because we haven't really seen it from him since the days when he was on Runaway and he was playing alongside Lee Jae-gon. They were this dynamic duo of supports that looked like they could crush anybody. And then as they entered the league, they got split apart. And while Lee Jae-gon had looked incredible and had several highlight moments and whatnot, Gangnam Jin was never quite in that same spotlight. So I think that there is a hell of a lot.
Ironically, he replaces Lee Jae-gon on this team as a Luciano. Ironically,
very true, very true. So lots of questions around that. How is he going to look with this potential role swap? Are they going to just kind of have to shoehorn into playing nothing but double flank support? There's many a question to be had. But it looks like we should be just about ready to get things underway, so we'll go ahead and take a look at our map set here for the final series of the day. We're going to be going over to Oasis once again, then we get good old King's Row, Havana once more, and then if we can go beyond those three maps, Colosseo as well as the Palm.
Flitter's got a lot of work to do here, as now I'm pretty sure he's by default the captain of this team, and no stranger to teams performing poorly in terms of his history on Flash Looks, but he was the guy that kind of turned the fate of Shanghai Dragons around after their 0-40 and slightly more of a struggle in... When did Flatter come in? 2020 or was it 2019? Pretty sure it was 20... I'm forgetting, dude. Do you remember?
He was on Dynasty in 2019, I believe.
I think pretty sure you came in on 2020. I'll just do a double check because I don't want to be wrong about it.
Well, that would have been his year.
Okay, he was
MVP,
signed
yes.
like November 2019, but he didn't play in Season 2 for Shanghai. My point is, he came and turned around the Shanghai roster alongside Lip and everybody else in that 2020 version of the roster. And they sort of, really changed things up from where those 2019 guys were at. Despite them actually winning a stage start in 2019, so I don't want to speak ill of that team. The point is, 2020 was, I think, the start of real Dragons dominance. And now, with the kind of winning roster, the championship roster of the Shanghai Dragons from 2021 being ripped apart and put into different teams across Atlanta, Reign, Boston Uprising, what have you, Seoul Dynasty in the case of Void as well, this is a very different Shanghai Dragons now that is kind of paling in comparison to the Shanghai Dragons we've had in the past. So, expectations are certainly low, but this is where you can start to build yourself back up again, just like the Guangzhou Charge had.
Yeah, but I mean, it's, again, new territory coming in here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. I think they find themselves kind of more in the Dallas Fuel position because they themselves do have that championship under their belt. They've undergone multiple iterations, but have always been, aside from 2018, a fairly competitive organization in the Overwatch League. Now they come in with more doubts cast on them than pretty much ever before. Can they climb above them and show us a damn good game? We're about to find out because the gate's going to open as we go ahead and kick things off with City Center here on Oasis.
Let's take a look at the compositions. It's going to be the Flatank on the Winston versus Gushui, one of the most legendary Winston plays of all time. It's going to be Hangzhou Spark taking control of the high ground immediately as Gushui drops down.
He does, and he nearly takes out Gangnam Jin. Putting him down to single-digit HP. Iris as well. Shunks down to about half. Will steadily get healed back up, but Fleta getting bullied here as Leaf drops down, just pummeling these bullets into his head. Turns his sights over to Viper. Takes him down for the first blood. Back out on the Gushui. I don't think he's going to be nonplussed about that one. Just leaps back over, joins in with the rest of the team here at the center point, where they look to go ahead and get the initial cap. A second contest has come through from the side of the Shanghai Dragons, just looking to stay this off as much as possible, but now look to re-aggress here onto the high grounds. The flank comes in from Shy, just getting those hacks across. They take him low. Lee will find another kill as Hisu now going to be eliminated. And I mean, if Shy didn't already have such a strong lead here on the Sombra, he certainly has one now.
I gotta say, despite all of the kills coming on through that it's only been from Leave, we have a lot of low members of the Shanghai Dragons. Most of them have not gone down. Stalwart in terms of staying alive, but it's Leave for the only two final blows so far. Let's see if Shy can collect one of his own.
He's making the call.
Does connect Leave and Shy together.
They get in there, but Bubble comes up from Fleta. They do go ahead and widely keep Iris protected, so he's not going to take too much damage here. Joins back into the rest of the squad, just looking to top them up here. 33% though, accrued on the point from the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Shy now just 12% away from that EMP. Nano is coming, as you say. It'll be the first ult in all likelihood here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, and it needs to be a pivotal one for them to go ahead and get control of this point.
Leave also on the pulse bomb here as well, with the Nano not coming through for Flitter just yet. Hangzhou Spark's turn to go. This will be a great EMP opportunity. Connects on the 3.
Oh, and they just two of them instantly evaporate. That's just going to be the damage dealers taken out here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Flitter does get nanoed from Iris just to try to survive this, but they're no closer to getting a flip without these damage dealers here on the point. Monk also, somewhat surprisingly, going to be using the Kitsune Rush. Thought maybe they would hold that for a re-aggression from the side of the Shanghai Dragons, but they push forward. They look for additional punishes, and they are going to be found. Both supports now dead. Gangnam Jin still 6% away from building up that first little sound barrier here. They find some staggers. They hold it now 75%.
And that's really important, right? The fact that you brought up the Monk extra Kitsune Rush. It does feel like an overspend. It doesn't feel like Hangzhou needed to throw in the extra ultimates, given they already had the 2-player lead off the EMP. And the EMP now goes to the hands of Hisu. It's their turn. It's Shanghai Dragons' turn to really set the tempo.
Look at this chase. They're just right out in front of the spawn rooms now. EMP going to be used in desperation here from the side of Hisu. Doesn't manage to help them trade back one. Gushui going to be taken down, but Leaf finds another elimination. Both supports once again taken down. Leaf gets a third as Hisu will fall. Fleta able to find Monk, force out the OT. Lengths looks to just go ahead and delay here on the high ground for a little bit longer. Has to make his exit. But can they even drop down? Yes, they do. But manages to tag back in. Has the primal in his back pocket. Trying to buy some extra time. Goes ahead. Uses that ult now. Now is going to be hacked out. Widely will be the focus fire target here for the side of the Hangzhou Spark as he look to reclear this point.
Shy has another EMP here. There's so many ultimates online for the Hangzhou Spark. Kusha with the primal as well. You weren't going to kill him with the EMP coming on through. Should connect. Gangnam Jin only gets a solo beat. Was that bubble? He only beat himself.
Oh, I don't know. Either way, it's going to be a tragedy here for the side of Shanghai as they desperately look to hold on. Once again, the jump forward, they managed to tag in, but Fleta is isolated, dead. The sound barrier finally built up and used by Langsa. Just more as a celebration here. There's no real threats to be found. Viper trying to dash and dodge around here on the point to keep things going as long as humanly possible here for himself. He's still so very far away from that pulse bomb, and the EMP is still held by Shy, and he decides, you know what? I don't need to use it.
Celebratory. Give me the fireworks.
Nope. It won't give us the satisfaction.
Well, yeah, we've gone from cool guys don't look at explosions to cool guys don't even set off explosions. We'll save it for the next round here on Oasis because that was fairly clean. And my goodness, holy, lead with a 3K earlier on. Is it going to be the... No, okay, this is going to be a different replay. This will be Shy's 3-man EMP. Connects onto 2. Instant frags. I mean, what a connection. Fleta gets the help with a nano, but you've lost double DPS here. And if you actually look at HP, you can sort of see maybe why Monk used the Katuna Rush because both Shy and Leaf were low. There was a risk of them dying, so Monk was like, we got to just secure it right. Ends up not being a huge factor because when Hisu drops his EMP on the opposite end a little bit later on, Leaf gets a 3K there to turn it around, which was gigantic.
All right, well, now on to University where Shanghai Dragons look to turn the tides. Come around, win it for themselves. Hisu going to be here on this Hanzo. Just saw so much value from in the previous series, and he puts in enough damage to go ahead and set up for the kill. From Viper on a Gushway to follow up the kill. Flanks it out, taken out. Shy going to be noted in the back line, not given really any opportunity to build up towards that EMP. Shanghai will find themselves in pole position to go ahead and get the initial lock down to the point.
I think he's one of his better heroes as well. Vividly remember the 2021 season on the Toronto. Defiant with Hisu's Hanzo, especially in the final qualifying stage of the playoffs. So we'll be able to get kill to start things out with here alongside Viper to set the tone for the Shanghai Dragons. I think the pacing of the game was what really cost Shanghai in that previous round. The fact that they were almost being spawn camped. They can't keep Eris alive, but they get a trade.
No, yeah, Leaf goes in, finds the kill, but does get traded out. We'll pick one up. The point nearly flipped there. Hangzhou, however, still not in control of the fight, being taken off of the point itself. They actually collapse in, they find Hisu, they take him down. Now they go ahead and reaggress. Fleta looking to hold this by himself alongside basically only Gangnam Jin, but he's playing around corners. Fleta now taken low, and the healing throughput from a Lucio on his lonesome, it's not going to be enough. He ends up falling, the flip is there. 33% established for the Shanghai Dragons, but now they need to recap.
Dragons need ults. I mean, they got the 33, which is nice, but off the back of winning the initial fight, I don't think they got enough kills. Without those kills, you don't have the damage input there. Viper will be able to get the pulse bomb ahead of Lee because Lee did die in a previous fight. Eris is ages behind, though. You need to see a lot quicker on the nano charge to be able to compete in the next fight, given that we're about to see Katsune Rush.
Forward, Shy taking a bit, has to translocate out to safety. Pulse bomb still held. Viper looking for a prime opportunity. That massive cluster there, everybody exiting back to the point. I thought maybe he would be able to find it, but opts to not go for it yet. Katsune Rush instead going to be used. Monk again, looking to speed the charge, guide Spark forward in an aggressive fashion. It's working. A treat his ears, and both Hisu now will fall. Viper as well under duress. Cannot make it out with his life intact. Monk will finish him off. 44% lead, very much established here for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. It's 2-ult investment to come away with a win.
Well, you just see the difference in ultimate charge. I mean, this is what I brought up, right? Fleta only just got his primal. Eris and Gangnam Jin were in the high 90s, but everyone's dying around them. You already lose your DPS as the fight is basically over. If a sound barrier was available, even a nano onto Fleta, just to keep him on the front lines, possibly a different story, just to be able to fight up against the Katsune Rush. Sound barrier is still 2% off, and the EMP is here, so I mean, Shy, if he finds the timing here, if he lands on a Gangnam Jin, could be dangerous territory. We are heading towards final fight. Not quite there, but we are heading towards it.
Which way into the pit. Grabs that mega pack here for himself. Fleta now going to be natted up. The primal still available. He's going to be looking to go into the back lines in all likelihood. You can see Lang's HP bar getting tagged down just a little bit. In the meantime, Gangnam just trying to heal. Which way now going to be slept, but yep, beat for beat now going to be coming through. Both Lucios pulled the trigger, and Hisu gets taken down. A nice headshot from Monk to go ahead and deny that shielding away. Shy going to be traded out, however. So EMP taken away from the fight, and the flip is there. Shanghai Dragons stealing the point away. Hangzhou Spark got themselves up to 93%. and they win out the rest of the fight. Primal now going to be popped, just looking to hound down Langza, but he's riding up on top of the walls, and he just can't quite isolate this Lucio
no
to get the elimination. They push him into the corner once again. Langza still continuing to be quite slippery, eventually will die, but in the meantime, Fleta, he's giving all of his attention to this target, and Gushwei is killed too. Hangzhou and Hisu both out of the fight. Hangzhou now swapping over to the Brigade, trying to join back in to flip it back through. Hangzhou Spark, once again in control, just 4% left to go, and someone's going to need to touch. Fleta down low, slowly getting ticked back up. The OT does get forced out, but it's another Kitsune rush built up here for the side of Monk. Looking to save them off and close out this first map. The OT now bleeding away. Someone needs to get the touch. They finally managed to get themselves back through. Hisu going to be hacked. Monk finds a headshot. The Sombra out of the fight. Everybody still 5 members strong on the side of the Hangzhou Spark, looking to close this one out. Fleta will fall. Viper down to half. Gangnam Jin as well, riding the walls, just not quite as elusive. Gets hounded down by Leave in the end. Leave follows up with another one now onto Viper, and that will be the finisher. 154%. Hangzhou Spark go ahead and they take Oasis without breaking a sweat.
And that's a perfect way to describe how Oasis goes. 2-0 on Oasis. Dragons barely winning a fight there, and there was some very good opportunities for the Shanghai Dragons towards the end of University, where it looked like Hangzhou Spark were not going to quite win this one. Shy does a kind of a weird thing with the EMP, where he held on to EMP, didn't really do setup for it the way you'd expect, while Invis playing specifically for EMP. He reveals himself quite early, and then ends up getting taken down into a 5v4 that looks great for the Shanghai Dragons, but they just can't get the cleanup. Shanghai Dragons, even with the ultimates coming online, the nanos, everything, your pulse bombs missing, sound barriers being played in, it's not enough. They just can't collect any kills. There was a huge kill differential there. I lost the stats now, but it was single digits for the side of for the Shanghai Dragons, something like 8 total final blows to the 26 or 27 of the Spark in terms of the difference in kills to deaths team-wide.
Pretty brutal beginning here, but unfortunately it might just be par for the expected course. Hangzhou Spark definitely looking alive and well. Leave showing, yeah, rumors of my demise very much exaggerated. Comes out here swinging, scooping up, I mean, first blood, multi-frags the whole way throughout, showing that he still has what it takes to, you know, potentially get that MVP moniker back. Still early days, however, but a very strong start for Hangzhou.
MVP caliber player. Rumors of him being washed, and the demise, like you sort of mentioned, they're greatly exaggerated. He didn't have a great season in Chengdu last year, but Chengdu in an awkward spot last year. The entire team very much in an awkward spot. This time around, you build the China super team, it's Shy and Leave together, and off to the races. Clean map number 1. See in the highlights here just how dominant things were. Basically all the kills going the way of the Hangzhou Spark.
Yeah, everything working beautifully here for the side of Hangzhou synergistically. King's Row now going to be coming up next. We'll see what Fleta is going to be playing. We'll see how the Shanghai Dragons look as they go into the second map. First one's out of the way. Shake it off. Focus up. Try to get yourselves back in. We'll see if they're up to task though when we come back, so don't go anywhere. Alrighty, and we are back. One map out of the way. Oasis taken by the Hangzhou Spark quite easily, unfortunately. Shanghai Dragons not able to find too much footing.
Oh no,
and this is just mean. No, why are we doing this? You're talking about the progenitor of the Primal Blade versus a guy who's stepping into the tank role for the first time ever after a 7-year career playing DPS.
You see the number 1 on Fleta's chest there? That's the amount of times he's professionally played Winston. So it's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. You literally are facing one of the most legendary Winston players in all time in Gushwei. You're a first-time Winston. It happens. You know, I think it was a different story for Dante last year, switching to tank, because as you outlined, you're playing Doomfist there, which is, you know, an easier story to sell in terms of, well, Doom used to be a DPS, so Dante kind of slipping into that feels okay. Here, it's like, there's none of that. Doomfist is definitely not meta. Fleta can't do that. He has to just go straight on to, like, the core tanks of the Winstons, and who knows what else Fleta will bring to the table later on. Because, by the way, Havana is on board, and, well, you know what the Havana meta is. It's all about Sigma. To be fair, that's also a question mark for Gushwei, but at least Gushwei is, like, a traditional tank player.
Yeah, he's got a bit more experience in that bank when it comes down to it. I mean, he's got more experience in pretty much everything when it comes down to it. Unless we really are going to start, counting the Echo duplicates. Either way, Havana, that's for a future map. We are guaranteed to see it, and I'm curious about it. But first, we have to go through King's Row, some good old bread and butter Overwatch.
Classic. And pretty sure that if you're the Spark, you just keep running dive, and maybe you see a Hangzhou coming through here as well. The great thing about Shy Leave is you can play both of them on Tracer if you prefer Leave or the Tracer for obvious reasons. He literally won MVP in 2021 off the back of the Tracer. But, I think a Sombra could still be fine here. In the metas that I've seen, King's Row is typically surrounded by, Hanzo type compositions, whether you play that with the Ram or with the Winston. I don't expect either of the players to play Ram today. Maybe Flitter. Again, I have no idea what his hero pool is. Ram has mostly been played by off-tank traditional players so far. And Gushway is definitely not that, so he would probably prefer the Rhine if they go towards Brawl. But I don't think the Hangzhou Spark will play any Brawl today. I'm pretty sure they'll just stick on the dive the entire way through, except for maybe Havana.
Alright, well, into King's Row we go. Let's see what they do have prepared for us. For now, it's just going to be the double hover here on the Winston, so a second crack at it for Flutter. And widely, no real differences, it would seem, for the side of Shanghai, other than Gangnam Jin moving now over to the Brigida. Langza. None of us are ready for this. Don't do it.
And he's not.
And he's not. All right. The Mercy, though.
You know what I do see sometimes is when you snipe out a spawn, it's not going to be relevant for the map of King's Row, but other maps you can pedal boost a sniper like a Widowmaker on a platform and then pull them back. That's about all I see.
Okay, well, it is that echo coming through here. Langza with the pocket. Down, Ferris already can hear those dinks flying across. Is Gushway going to get tagged up? Of course, with the high ground for a brief little moment there. And, oh, what a great shot from Hisu. Catching Langza mid-flight. Crushes the butterfly. And that's going to be a nice little start here for Shanghai Dragons on the defense.
That's what you want to see. Again, Hisu on one of his classics. The old Hisu Hanzo. And as I mentioned earlier, between Shy and Leave, the good news is they can actually both play the Tracer. However, given that Shy is locked in the Tracer now, if they wanted to change comps and put Leave back on the Tracer, it would require two players to change heroes, which is a little awkward. So they're kind of stuck on this comp a little bit for now. I actually expect Leave, if he's going to change, he'll go to Hanzo, but he'll stay on the Echo for now. He's already got ult charge on that. Doesn't want to give up too early. As long as they keep Langster alive this time.
Slow and steady going so far here. Just now getting ready to re-aggress over onto the point. Shy going to be forced to recall. But playing alone on site, but Viper. Mid at range. Able to go ahead and finish the job, gets that kill. The Leave taken down. Lang's in no position to try to get that res to come through. Pulse Bomb will go wide, however, so additional punish to be found, but still going to be nice time bought.
And Eris has Nano now, so that's first ult online, aside from the Pulse Bomb from Shy, unless he connects that one. A small 1v1 on the side room as well. Viper's keeping Shy busy. Shy is not going to be able to find this Pulse just yet. Leave gets the first blood.
Yep, does end up falling. It's going to be a crucial pick to be found. Now the point very much opened up. They have to concede some percentage gain here.
Should be a retake, though. Let us respawn. You can nano him in. He's about to get primal as well. So Shanghai should be able to come back in.
Okay.
Especially with that kill.
Taken down. That's just going to be the pop there from Langza using the ult. Going to try to get the res through. Is able to do so. Now, Dragon Strike across the point. Leave able to jump up over top of it. But the rest of the Shanghai Dragons flush in beneath them.
Oh, man.
Pulse Bomb out from Shy, however, finds the stick. Euro's going to be taken down. Hisu and Gangnam Jin both gone. As both supports now eliminated. Moments before Gangnam Jin was going to have this rally that might have been able to bail them out. But going to be antsy to finish off through this primal. And that'll be the cap coming through. 4 minutes now on the clock. Does the Hangzhou Spark go ahead and get the initial cap here on A?
I mean, that is tragedy for the Shanghai Dragons. You could not really ask for a better retakes opportunity. I mean, you have your players coming back in, you have ultimates coming online, you have an opening frag as well with the Hisu, and 5v4 leaves down. I mean, that's about as good as you're going to get. If you can't win that situation, you're not going to get too much better situations than that for the Shanghai Dragons. A's gone now. Leave will finally find his duplicate. Let's see what he ends up choosing there. I mean, how deadly would it be if he actually goes towards the Tracer? 2 Tracers on the field. Insane for the Hangzhou Spark.
Okay, Duke. Cross jump into the back. Yep, Winston across, Leave, able to find Hisu. Nice and early, follows up onto Gangnam Jin. Here is being juggled around Shy. Good for the finishing blow. Fleta going to be slept back over towards the cars. Keeps it contested, so they have to wake him up, but they're just batting him away and forcing him back. Eventually, they'll leave him in a grave. Thinks it does get taken down, but they know exactly where Viper's at. They're able to find that punishing kill as well for some additional stagger, and they continue on their merry way.
Leave is just doing a little bit of practice in case he ever feels like role swapping in the future. Hopefully not too soon, as I think the best years of him in DPS are still currently present, as seen. Isu's been spending a bit of time on the Ashe now. I think this has been a couple fights now on the Ashe, but it's been slow going. Still working on that Bob, running out of range, running out of sight lines, no high ground to play through. I think Ashe would have been stronger a little bit early on with the, bookshop control, but with that gone, far less to play through, and the double support ultimate is now online for Spark. Spark are in a great position. Just heal up Boost Ray and they can go in.
Yep, looking for the dive, though, trying to get rid of Monk. Sleep does come across, and I mean, anti-nade, sticky bombs, everything thrown at Fleta. He instantly gets taken down. Leave will find Viper as well as the cart just continues to inch forward, closer and closer. In the end, this push is going to cost Hangzhou Spark, 2 minutes basically. We'll go ahead and get that bump up as they go for the final stretch, and they're still looking for more. Hangzhou has to circle back away over towards the mini pack room.
Oh, the range.
Himself alive. Sleep connects, but can they get a punish? Bubble comes up, so the answer is going to be no until Viper does dive forward. Pulse bomb expended. They find Leave.
A huge amount of confidence coming through from Lee, but a great punish from Eris, and that's the kind of sleep dance you need to see coming through Shanghai Dragons to have any chance. And just that one kill, by the way, Shanghai Dragons can hold first corner on seat, which is very important. Had the kill gone the opposite way, we leave a little bit more range in the beam. Beam's range has been nerfed over time, so that wasn't going to be able to hit properly. Would have been Hangzhou Spark taking this corner.
Dive coming through again. It's a double Winston just jumping forward, looking to isolate and take them down. And so far, it's working magically. Bob in the back line, however, Hisu will be able to find lanes, and Monk gets eliminated as well. So it's both supports gone on either side. But I juggle around just a little bit, but still does hold on to that primal should he need it. But now Viper going to be hounded down. Which way? Just go ahead, chase him in the back, finds the kill. Fleta wanting to hold the primal for a final fight, does so. Have a couple of ults to try to utilize here, but Hangzhou Spark continue to make progress.
I mean, Hisu posthumously actually kind of saved the Shanghai Dragons. The Bob killing both supports slows down Hangzhou Spark entirely. Monk must have not had a great shot, by the way, from Hisu, but Monk must have not had a sleep dart available, because that should be easy to counter. You just sleep the Bob and you're fine, but probably expended a little bit earlier.
I mean, a good timing found by Hisu, I guess, at the very least. As great headshot from Hisu. Insta-scopes in, takes out Leave. More time going to be bought, obviously. No res, no mercy. And even in this position, I think it would be a pretty tall task.
Leave Ashe. I mean, it's up to him. Like I said earlier, Shy's taken away his beloved Tracer, so Leave's got to play something else. I'm surprised it's not a Hanzo. Leave, maybe it's an ego jewel. He really fancies going back on the hit scan. He can flex onto it despite it not being traditionally his role. Dragons have more ultimates here to play through as well. Spark got to be careful. They are running out of time.
Pulse bomb out. Leave going to be taken down. Viper, again, good with another pick. Built that one up pretty quickly. You can see elimination. Fleta's primal going to be expiring. Jumps back, stays safe. It's back into cover here, so continue to hold the forward corner and keep this cart locked in position. Hisu getting targeted quite a bit. The stick eventually coming through. Nano comes out and actually saves Hisu's life. He's still in this fight, and the Bob is nearly here. 70% left to go. Fleta, well, low on health. Needs to try to stay alive. The dynamite from Leave finally will go ahead, burn Hisu down. They find the eliminations. Stangam will also be traded out. It's the cost of playing at the same time. Neither team without a Brigitte. Fleta, however, a sliver of HP remaining. Scoping in. Leaf somehow does not finish that shot. And yeah, Fleta stays alive. He grabs the Mega Pack, but eventually Gushway does push forward far enough to find the elimination. Card again pushing. 50 seconds remaining. Leaf lining the back line, just trying to keep him covered in case there's a flank. Hisu burning down Monk with that dynamite. Try plays forward. The Bob comes out. That forces them back away once again. It's going to be a last-second effort here from the side of the Hangzhou Spark if they want to complete the map.
I mean, if there is a member that is holding the Spark at bay, it is definitely Hisu. He's the guy getting the frags, the tick down on the grenade as well, the dynamite onto Monk. So huge. Monk just had no healing there. Lengths are maybe too far away. I'm not too sure what happened there. Maybe out of cookies. In either case, the Bob, on top of everything else, prevents the payload movement. That enables the Shanghai Dragons to get this hold on C. There's one fight left to go. Leave has the Bob this time.
Bob goes out, taking a bit of damage. Shy now getting the better of Viper. Pulse bomb taken out of the fight, and Shy does hold on to one of his own. Bob going to be taking a nap for now. Eris able to put him down on the ground, but now he's woken up, and the cart needs to be occupied. Fleta jumps in. Pulse bomb does not connect. They were looking for it. Lee finds a headshot all the same, so Fleta still falls. Gets a follow-up shot. Viper taken down. Gungam Jin now eliminated, and the push will come to fruition. Hangzhou Spark, though, spending a lot more than they had to on the previous map. They still get to the end of the end of King's Row. I can speak.
The damage output from the Spark as well onto Fleta on that final fight as well is what's Really secures it. Not enough support for Fleta. I think, yeah, he definitely was out of LOS because he was inside the sort of nostrils at the end there. Let's take a look at the replay. This is where the Bob cleaned up too. So yeah, the double Winstons, but pay attention to the kill feed. Both Monk and Lynx to die here to the Bob. So it's Hisu posthumously who saves the day, despite how good this dive looked. And had those two supports stayed alive, if Monk still had a sleep dart for the Bob, I think that would have been a very different story. Hangzhou Spark would have had a ton of momentum coming through from that push. They might have been able to finish the map off that push as well.
Well, even with the mismatched roles here for the side of Leave and Shy, they managed to get it done in the end. Some nice headshots across. Little mini highlight reel built up to go ahead and close out the push. Now let's see how Shanghai Dragons get ready to fare. Gangnam Jin going to be showing us the Kiriko for now. Looks like Viper going to go for the opening shot with the Widow, and Hisu likely to stick with this Hanzo.
And now Leave gets to go back onto his old favorite of the Tracer. It's going to be a pure dive from the Hangzhou Spark. No Hanzo, no Ash, no long range at all. It's all about the short range here for the Spark. And want to get up close and dirty, especially with the extra Brig on board as well. We'll see what Shanghai Dragon's response is. I don't think Hisu's going to match the Shy Sombra here. Pretty certain for Hisu it'll be either Hanzo or Ash, with the preference of it being Hanzo in my opinion.
Not even risking it, knowing that the Hanzo was right there. Shy just jumping away with the translocator.
Oh my god, he's actually done it.
Okay, Hisu's going to do it. He's going to go for the match. See how he fares, though. Whether or not the dive can be slicker than that of the Hangzhou Spark, because I'll tell you what, on that Oasis map to begin, everything looks very damn clean for them. Looking for the hack attempt. Bubble comes up. Gushway able to prevent that from coming through. In the meantime, Shy finds Fleta. Minor assist coming through from Monk. Punish found. Hack out on that mini pack here inside of the trophy, inside of the statue, I should say. Trophy. Damn big trophy.
Trophy for a giant, maybe.
Yeah.
For Hangzhou Spark, I mean, this is shades of, I think, 2021 Chengdu, especially when you look towards Leave on that dive alongside, you know, now Gushwei. Again, a completely different player to Gaga, but very legendary in his own right. And you have Hisu with the swap onto the Sombra, but it just comes in late. He's still trying to set up. Meanwhile, Spark, they already have the tempo. And that's the shades of 21 Chengdu I'm talking about. They have the tempo just to be able to find that dive much earlier than Shanghai. Is Shanghai caught napping?
Keep hearing the attempts, the hacks here from Hisu, but he's just not able to get it done. They're just constantly bobbing and weaving outside of his range. Shanghai will eventually get taken down. Fleta able to find one, but at the cost of both supports. So still very much a decent position here for the side of the Hangzhou Spark, as Shy can rejoin quickly, and Fleta needs to stay alive. They're still pursuing forward, looking for the kill, but it looks like they won't give up on it here at the very end, allowing him to go a separate way. A little bit of massive punish, but the side of the Hangzhou Spark, they're showing good restraint. They don't want to over-pursue.
Hisu actually has the first EMP despite it being on the losing side of this fight so far. And I think most of that is because Shy hasn't had enough damage. Everyone else has had more. Shy gets taken down by the EMP.
Gets the catch up. Viper's good for it. Dashes in. Finishes him with a melee. Gushwei, the other target, getting hit by that EMP. Still hovering low as far as the health is concerned. The ball spot lobbed in by Viper. Finds a connection and Monk gets taken down. Shy getting ready to try to rejoin, but Lee finds Fleta. Another crucial target eliminated. Viper down to 32. Gonna try to stay alive.
Shy's coming back.
They do have the hack mini pack, so he will be okay. Fleta now respawning, can join in. EMP goes out, however, finds a couple players. Nano has to be used out onto Viper just to try to keep him in this fight. Back across.
Gushwei is going to hard find Hisu here as well, so things are looking dire for Shanghai Dragons now. They have a Brig rally, they're going to pop it. That keeps Gangnam Jin alive. In fact, I think that saves Eris as well.
Keeps him in this for a little bit longer. Langsit still holds onto a rally of his own. So far, Shanghai Dragons are just now getting their first taste at the point, ticking up towards that initial tick. Packs flying, Gangnam Jin dead. The anti out on the Eris. Gushwei's good with the stomp, finds the finishing blow again. The support's eliminated. Fleta dead. Has to just hold on to the primals for the future fight. Shanghai Dragons just swept under the rug. It's another team kill. Hangzhou Spark holding firm with just a minute remaining.
Gushwei's the king of those micro dives as well, where he just does this tiny leap into, you know, a bit of a zap melee combo. 100-0 onto soft targets. 11 final blows, only one behind Leave, by the way, just in case you were curious, for the final minute now. As Hangzhou Spark are looking for this full hold on A. Not a single tick so far to be found for the Shanghai Dragons, and perhaps a final EMP from Hisu could save them.
Oh, and Viper just gets flanked. Leave comes out of nowhere. Takes him down with a one-click melee. EMP does strike. Gushwei taken down in the front lines. Pulse bomb from Leave, not going to find the hit that he was looking for. Now in danger of being hacked as well. Looking for Fleta to find it, but he's got the primal rolling, so he's still in a decent position. He's looking to go ahead and take down Langsa. Knocks him out of spot. Anti comes in. They find the kills. It's going to be the supports now taken down. Shanghai Dragons finally getting that first tick. They should be able to get this cap.
I think Monk lost his nano there. He tries to nano Lingsa, I believe, and Lingsa dies way too quickly. That's the second time tonight I think we've seen a lost nano. The first one was in the Soul versus Soul game, aka the Soul Bowl. And here, because of that, Hangzhou Spark can't hold on. To be fair, that was well played by Flair. Great pressure onto both the supports of the Hangzhou Spark. And for Monk, he would have preferred to have waited for Goose Ray to come back in. Nano him instead. With Goose Ray's return, instantly a frag.
Isu dead. Viper. Decent reply. Pulse Bomb will take out Langsa. So now without Brigida, gives Gangnam Jin very much the lead. At 82% here compared to the 65. Langsa now respawning. He's got a long run back to try to join in here for the fight. But now Gushwich just trying to keep things held here at the bookstore, but has to retreat as the hack comes through.
Good jump away to reset here. Preserve the life. Get the primal up. Really comes down to Shy setup now. Because the dive needs to come on through. This is the perfect time to play. The corner is about to be approached. This is one of the last couple defendable spots on King's Row. One of the primary ones, I'd have to say. And immediately Spark recognize that. They don't want to lose the bookshop.
EMP goes across, catches out onto 4 members. The Nano can't come through to try to save Fleta's life. Monk now just going to be scooping up 2 kills. As Shy will find the 3rd, and the cart very much going to be held. And I mean, the cart didn't get that much distance, so this effectively does give the Hangzhou Spark, I should say, this archway control. Shy continues to linger around the back, as does Viper. Very far back.
See if they want to hold that archway, though, because there's many ways for the Shanghai Dragons to wrap around. When you're looking at a Sombra and a Tracer, there's a lot of flank pressure, so archway is maybe not great in this particular matchup in terms of a holdable position. Bookshop is a little bit safer, and that's also where your supports are going to be. Monk laying down the damage from heals from long range. Nano now found on both sides. It's the EMP differential, though. Expect Isu to be the one to really start things off.
Esports down on the low ground, pressured out by Lee. Pulse Bomb at the ready, so could turn into a very dangerous situation in the blink of an eye, and there it is. That hit? Stick, but Gangnam Jin was just stuck in the corner. The Pulse Bomb explosion takes him down, and Ears falls as well. Shy getting involved in the dive.
30 seconds?
Fleta goes down, and yeah, 30 seconds as you say. They are running out of tools to work with. A couple ults still on the way, but he's without that EMP. That's going to be one of the big turning point ults that you look for, but unfortunately, he doesn't have it.
And that's a big problem, right? I mean, that is the tool. That's what Shanghai needed to win the next fight, and they burned in the fight that they end up losing. So final fight coming through now. Last 10 seconds. They got 3 ultimates, nearly 4 with Fled on the primals on. I mean, Shanghai is still in a reasonable spot. They just don't have the pacing. They're always second to these fights. They can never initiate properly.
This Pulse needs to find value, but the anti staves back the supports for now. Will expire. Scoochway jumps forward. No Nano to bail him out, but still holds onto the primal. Now rallying going to be popped. Pulse Bomb goes in. Viper able to find one that's going to cancel out the rally there from Langsa. Not much extra health added on to the team members now. Shy jumps away. Stun goes across. Leap has to exit. Gets himself out of there. Dives back forward. To try to build up towards that next pulse, but widely the fight going to be won here from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Well executed. A great stick from Viper to keep them in this one, but now they have to get moving.
I mean, that stick was everything for the Shanghai Dragons. Deletes the rally, as you say. Now Lynx are coming back onto a Lucio. Nope, still going to be the Brig. Just a speed back Monk, I think, is what you want to do. Spawn on the Lucio. You already burned the rally anyway. Speed Monk out of there. Double supports down as a lost fight for Spark. So none of the, between Leave and Goose, were the 2 remaining ultimates, and none of them are actually going to use those. They'll save it for the final engagement on B. A position where Shanghai are far weaker, and it's now 3 ultimates to 2 with an extra nano coming online for Monk.
Talking about EMP, talking about pulses. Hangzhou Spark holding both of those aces right now. EMP goes across. Viper and Fleta both taken down before the primal can be used. Leave gets the pulse bomb stick. They clear him off the cart. The OT plummets so very rapidly. Hangzhou Spark cleaning things up here on King's Row. Now moved up 2-0 in this series. And it looks like we might just be destined for a very quick back half of the evening here, Avril.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of fighting spirit in there for Shanghai Dragons, which I love to see. A couple of cool plays, and we see Ares land some decent sleep darts and some good hits. Isu's landed some good shots on the Ash and, you know, on the Hangzhou as well. Viper with a great stick there. Fleta and Gangnam Jin, you know, they're keeping it in there. They're trying their hardest, but it's they're 2 plays on debatably off rolls. Well, not debatably for Fleta, but for Gangnam Jin, it's his 2nd year now trying to play Lucy, trying to play this main support. And for this Shanghai squad, having just recently brought Eris online, getting rid of DM, changing things around, they just don't look like they're a well-rounded unit just yet, especially not versus the Chinese super team of the Hangzhou Spark, the 2023 Team China squad for the World Cup as well. I mean, this quite literally is the best that China has to offer. The Shanghai Dragons, well, they're not able to really do much against that.
No, they're not. Well, let's see if this is, you know, a long-term work in progress system for the Shanghai Dragons, or if they're going to be able to rally it back here in this opening series. One more map to try to make the difference as we get ready to go to Havana. But as you've been pointing out, Avril, talk about these tank rolls, what we are used to seeing on Havana. The questions again lie around Fleta and how he is going to be able to perform there.
Elsa should be coming in for the Sigma, so you are going to be seeing 20 being subbed in. Likely his return to the Overwatch League for the first time since the 2021 season, where he vacated, allowed Late Young to finish the season for the Chengdu Hunters in that year. Another ex-teammate, old teammate of both Monk and Leaf, to rejoin the fray, and Havana really is a Sigma-heavy map, so I don't think you can really get away with keeping Gushue in there. But so far, I mean, even if Shanghai Dragons can claw back Havana, we're likely going to go back to more Winston gameplay. We've still got push ahead. We've still got another control map. I mean, dive aplenty, I think, for the rest of the series, no matter what Dragons do. And Dragons are showing that they cannot keep up with the Spark dive.
Well, one more to try to turn the tide. We'll see if they're going to be up to task when we come back from the break. Alrighty, and we are back, and it's time to go into, again, what could be the final map of not just the series, but the evening. As right now, the Hangzhou Spark are looking incredible, and the Shanghai Dragons very clearly still going through some growing pains with some of the roster adjustments as well as just role adjustments they've undergone.
Seeing some Shy versus Hisu stats on the Sombra, and I kind of mentioned early on King's Row, I didn't think Hisu was really going to come up against Shy in terms of picking the Sombra into the matchup. I thought Hisu would have preferred to play the Hanzo. He showed some great shots in the Hanzo a little bit earlier, but Dragons are like, you know what, we're going to play some dive. We can play some dive, right? Let's get this Hisu Sombra plus Fleta Winston thing going on. And, I mean, stat-wise, there's nothing to really talk a lot about here, because it's not just Hisu. I mean, if you brought up every single one-to-one comparison, every single comparison would show a Hangzhou Spark member kind of diffing their opponents, given how one-sided that last map and the series entirely so far has been in terms of Spark beating the Dragons. And it's subtle things as well. I mean, there's small differences that lead to huge results, and where the coordination for the dive is. You're even seeing stuff like, you know, there was the Shy translocator kill onto Hisu's translocator, which then enabled Gushue to dive onto Hisu, and they were communicating through pings and doing all this kind of stuff, where setting up a guaranteed kill to Hisu that was on B, I believe. So for the Hangzhou Spark, there's no question that their dive is monumentously better than Shanghai Dragons. The question moving forward for a map like Havana is that going to translate over a different composition? Because I don't know if we're getting a substitution. I have to actually double check. No subs. Apparently there's no subs. No subs. Yep. So that means Gushue is playing Sigma, question mark?
Or they're going to change up the meta and shake it up here on Havana. We'll have to just wait and see, but maybe it's something that they've been working on, saying, okay, you know what, your Winston's great. You've got a couple other picks you've been doing well on, but try to flesh out that Sigma. Time will tell as we get ready to go into this one. And again, seeing if Shanghai Dragons can rally back, because this is not what I expected. I mean, I guess as far as like the... okay. I guess it's kind of what I expected. But I was also expecting to not have potential back-to-back 3-0s to close out opening weekend.
3-0 is the most common scoreline in the Overwatch League. Bit of a fun fact. And obviously then the second most common, after that 3-0 will be 3-1, and then obviously the rarest is 3-2s, because you don't always get the Giga Bangers. Those are quite rare. Over towards Havana, you know, big questions on the table about what kind of comps we see. Neither of our two tank players, especially not Fleta, known for the Sigma picks, and right now they're both hovering the Rhine. Now, what we did see in Overwatch 1 was a lot of spawn camping, which is what it looks like Spark are doing now, but 6v6 back then, you would bring the Rhine to the table, go straight up to the gas station, and just start spawn camping. Alright, Fleta's gone Sigma already. They just TP out. I respect that.
Okay. But now they have to get the car, which will prove to be a little bit more difficult. Shot across, Shaw getting tagged low.
You did see Hisu hover the fire. The fire is great at breaking out of spawns, so I'm a little surprised they're not going down that way, but they want to play some of the more picks they actually want to rely on in terms of building ultimates. Shy gets to play one of his classics in the Cassidy, famous from 2021.
Being consistently focused by these orbs here. Youngam doing his damnedest to try to get him out of here, just throwing discords at him, hoping that somebody else can finish the job. So far, hasn't happened. Part's still going to be locked in place, nearly a minute gone. Usually stunned up by the accretion for a brief little moment there, flooded down to about half HP. As Hisu just backpedaling as much as possible, getting himself here on this mid-ground, trying to find some shots across. Gushue, however, now finally can fall. They break that immortality field, they break down the Rhine. Lang's a dead as well, and it seems like it should just be a nice, easy cleanup here for the Shanghai Dragons.
Now the dam just breaks a little early there for the Spark. 13% away from finding the Ant Matrix from Monk. I was going to say, if Gushue doesn't die, they're looking towards a first ultimate fight. Would have been both Monk and Ares kind of racing towards an Ant Matrix, and given that Shanghai just won, he's going to get it first. But yeah, Hangzhou Spark just couldn't keep him up. Lamp came out, Lamp got destroyed, Gushue on low HP, and it's all over. But the time is the factor here, and another factor is the fact that it's a 5v4 lead down.
How does that one happen? Viper dashing through, kills a Mei. They do once again get themselves in behind the Shanghai Dragons, positioning nicely to try to stop this card from advancing forward, but Monk taken down before he can land into the sanctity of that immortality field. Nicely played by Fleta, who's looking very much more comfortable right now on the Sigma.
Wow, he's doing some Void cosplay, you know, played alongside one of the best Sigmas we've seen in the history of Overwatch, and now he gets to play it himself. Shanghai in position to cap him. Ares can set up for a window right at the back here. Good DPS ultimates. We've already talked plenty about OT situation with Dragon Strike, and he's just going to send it right in there with Hisu.
Oh, he does, and Gushue, because of that, everyone else is getting split apart. Gushue does not receive any TLC, ends up getting taken down. He's going to be able to answer one. Immortality field cleared out. The Blizzard as well thrown down on the ground, and the follow-up is looking gorgeous here for the side of the Hangzhou Spark, finally finding that footing after losing control of the initial grab of the cart. Jump up, identify exactly where Ares is at, and then flush him out of this position, and it will be a late little stagger here as the Baptiste goes down.
I don't know what Ares was expecting. He's like self-staggering. As soon as you get caught up there, you should just be like, well, I'm caught out. Please just end me here because I'm wasting my own time. But Shanghai will only lose minimal time off the back of that one, which actually might add up considering they lost maximal time on the A attack, trying to get past the spawn camp. Great, I think, confidence there from the Spark to believe in the 4v5 despite Gushue going down early. See if this Deadeye gets too much. Unlikely, but yeah. Shanghai Dragons definitely capable on there and given the ultimates.
Blade at the ready. Your Hangzhou Spark, even if you lose the point, getting this Transcendence with the blade out would still feel very good. Well,
Shadow's free, by the way.
He's trying to get this. He's trying, if he can build it. He's still 13% away. It's been a long and arduous process here for Gushue with many trips back to the respawn room. Blade now going to be pulled out by the top of Shy. First kill going to be found. Immortality field here as well to back up that Genji. Then he gets forced out of it, and Langsa finds the kill of all people. Kills being pumped through, utilizing that Ant Matrix as much as humanly possible. So Shatter gets dropped in, finally built up. Again, pushes two away from the cart, but the kills are not found. The cap is, however, Shanghai Dragons go ahead and get that 2.5-minute bump up.
See if any changes occur here. I mean, it's unlikely because Leave and Shy have remained, which means if you're Gushue, you might as well stay on the Rhine. Not going to play the Ramacha here, and well, with no sub-in from 20, aka Elsa, you're not going to see the Sigma, which means Spark are locked into this comp. The real unfortunate thing here is I don't think any of these members are super well known for playing Brawl. And Leave on the Mei, it's just going to be okay. It's certainly not going to be Leave Tracer, so you're not going to see that mega carry potential that we saw on the other two maps.
Dude, they really just love playing the merry-go-round, but without any of the smoke and mirrors here. Just run at them, try to get in behind on the flank. Still no, cart getting further and further away from it.
How does that happen?
Just what? Off? I mean, it's a volley between Gangnam Jin and Iris on that high ground.
Through the window.
Yeah, using the window to take him down now. Shy going to be dead as well. A smattering of damage here on the Iris, but he's going to be able to stay alive. The cleanup comes through, and I mean, that should be the cap coming in onto B. Maybe one more chance at a defense here for the Hangzhou Spark, given the way that things have been going. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to pull it off.
You got a Blizzard, and it's time to see if Fleta really is elite on the Sigma. He can eat the Blizzard away, and that's maybe a tall order, but that really is all that's left for the Spark. I mean, Deadeye will buy them into the fight, but I'm not expecting a lot from the Deadeye. Really is just going to come down the Blizzard.
Okay, Dragon Strike not going to be able to find him. A great headshot. Leave. Lining him up with the right click. Here's taken out. Hisu and Viper both tag low. Leave again.
Another one.
Weaving in these icicles. He's looking for more. He takes Viper down to a sliver of HP. And they don't even need to commit the Blizzard. Okay, so everything that I was saying,
all the Deadeye,
nothing
nothing
wrong. They just win the fight.
No ultimates.
Yeah.
They just walked in. They just straight up walked up. They donk walked onto the point. Leave got through, and that was that. Now Shanghai Dragons are reset with 1 minute remaining. Is Spark gonna hold this one? I mean, they just might. 4 ultimates remaining. Gushue's never gonna find the shot. He already got one earlier at the end of a fight.
Yeah.
To be fair, there's not much you can swing on when you're a Rhine versus a poke comp, so is what it is.
Pushing out this lower doorway by himself. Down to half HP, doesn't really care. He's just buying space for the rest of the team, and Shy's just sat up here on the high ground. Clicking heads, clicking bodies, 2 kills for him. Flood taken down as well, and that's 30 seconds now remaining. I think they might just be able to pull this one off. Transcendence will buy them time at least to survive the blizzard, but beyond that, who knows?
It's just, I mean, you can maybe try and force Lynx to sound barrier out early, and one of either the Gravitic Flux or the Blade could be really useful. But the Blade also can be countered by the Blizzard coming through from Leave as well. I think Blizzard, the deeper we get into OT, the better the Blizzard is. Same with the Deadeye. By the way, I think this is the same Deadeye that Shy's held on, but literally the whole map. Hasn't used a single one.
Waiting for the touch. Waiting for the touch!
Keep waiting. Keep waiting.
I don't want to blow everyone's ears out, but I want to scream.
I don't know who was meant to touch though, because it's just Viper. Who else can touch?
Oh, Shy
Your
dropped the
comp has no
C9 in
mobility.
chat.
Irish typed in 3 exclamation marks, so
Oh my god. Well, it didn't take long.
I can hear the pain in that groan.
I'm also
Here's
like
the
I'm
Void
simultaneously
cosplay moment.
yeah. I'm simultaneously also trying to not wake up my wife who's taking a nap on the couch. But man, do I just want to let all of my agony out via my vocal cords.
Well, it could be the final map, so if there was a map to do it. So here's what happens. I'm pretty certain Viper goes for the touch, but he just dies to Shy. And if Viper dies, no one else can touch, realistically speaking. Because there's, again, 0 mobility on the Shanghai comp. Not that there's an issue with that. There's only an issue when you've not got any time left. When you have time left, you can slowly work your way through the map. What the real issue was that we thought Shanghai Dragons was, I'm gonna just easily cap B, and that didn't happen. With Hangzhou Spark casually strolling back onto B, Leave casually hitting 2 headshots, not a single ultimate spent. That was the game-defining moment. That was the round-defining moment for the first half.
Well, you can change up the players, you can put Fleta on tank, but the Shang 9 cannot escape you. Gushue now going to be going for the Wrecking Ball on this attack, seemingly just not wanting to opt in at all to the Sigma battle. Seems like they've deemed it not up to
Honestly,
snuff, so they won't even entertain it.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just not good enough, and that's just the truth. And with that being the case, I don't blame them at all. They're gonna go for the dive instead. Leave on the Genji. We haven't seen Leave Genji since, oh god, when? Feels like forever, 2020 or something. I've probably seen it since then, but hasn't really been a Genji meta where Jinmu wasn't a Genji player, right? So Leave hasn't had the chance, and now chance is a ride versus the Shanghai Dragons. Let's see if it works.
Alright. He's here on the high ground, looking for a target and everything. Eluding him, and Leave gets on top of Gangnam Jin, takes him down. Deflect just delivering him unto death, so now down both supports. And now Widowmaker Shy quickly scoops up 3 eliminations on this Sombra. And he's 61% of the way to his first EMP.
It's 3 or 4. Both supports got deleted there. Certainly a lot.
That party was boring.
There will be one more fight here, but this is the fight that EMP comes on through. I mean, there's a real world where Shy is the one that gets the EMP before any other ultimates online. Okay, Viper's probably going to get the pulse bar, but aside from that, it's probably going to be the EMP here. Monk's still trying to race his way up towards the Nano, and both of those ultimates are going to be insane.
Door being held. Good amount of damage in. Pulse bomb does get stuck, and oh, he delivers it! Gushue jumps right into Langsa. Absolutely booms his support. And then Viper's able to follow up onto Monk. There's going to be no coming back from that one, not in this fight. Time for the reset as Gushue will fall. 2 DPS members do manage to slink their way back over towards the spawn room doors fast enough to avoid death. But that's going to be a feels bad moment.
I had to just check that wasn't Fleta on the Winston. No, it's definitely Gushue. just the rare oopsies from Gushue. Not known for those types of mistakes, but usually when you get pulsed as a Gushue, as a Winston rather, you jump into the sky as a Gushue.
It's synonymous.
You jump vertically, not horizontally.
Yeah. EMP into the back line. They're looking for Iris. Nade thrown down at his feet. He will stay alive. There's a nice sleep dart does connect as well to go ahead and put Gushue down for a nice little nap. EMP now held by Hisu, but Shy does find Flood at the end of it all. Primal not going to be off the card again, going to be advancing forward with a minute and 30 remaining here from the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Blade nearly built up. EMP comes across though. Big anti out on 3 members on the side of the Shanghai Dragons, but they're not able to capitalize, at least not yet. Leave dashes through, does find Gangnam Jin. The deflect finishes off Viper. And now it's just a meter left to go. Hisu spotted, finished off. Leave takes it upon himself to go ahead and finish the job and get them over the line.
It's fine, guys. Viper was just trying to reset himself. It's the quickest way to reset there. Neither of our Winston players got a primal off in that fight. Hacked out, deleted within seconds.
But the Nano was committed as well from Iris. So it's just an extra feels bad moment.
Well, just more ultimates in the hole for the Shanghai Dragons. And those early parts of now Havana B, all Spark territory. Leave goes towards the Tracer. He can properly dual Viper, even though I think the Genji's also fine for B. Shy well on his way towards his next EMP, and that's going to be the game changer.
Looking for the drop down stick. Not able to find it though. Viper. Slim margins there to have the miss come across. Split is going to get forced back. The Primal buying some space, buying some time, but as he continues to get chunked out, just has to make his retreat. Now the ult is going to be gone. The EMP looking massive in Gangnam Jin. Yeah, he got hit by it, but he's instantly dealt with. Taken down. Now both supports gone. Fleta going to be antied out. His Leaf just looks for more targets. Monk will go ahead and take the scientist away from him. The cart can continue to push.
Shanghai had some slight kind of information gained as well, given the fact that Shy revealed himself to Hisu, but barely any time to respond. Hisu was trying to hack him out of the EMP. Shy just sends it anyway, and now we're on to final fight here. Still a primal available. Nano's up there as well. Good ultimates online. Hisu 13% away. Hisu needs to get this EEP online ASAP.
Just 3% away. Has it at the ready, but he's been noted. He has to translocate out.
Feeling much better.
The cart hold it for now.
That's critical. He's got no positioning, no setup.
Gushway, Primal, looks to recontest onto the high ground. Of the Shanghai Dragons, but they're suffering their own losses as Gangnam Jin and Iris both get taken down. Gushway jumping up over the top, lands on top of the Mega Pack, gets himself back to full HP as Leave desperately trying to stay alive. Does manage to recall, but it's right back into the welcoming hands of Hisu and Viper. So ends up getting traded back. Cart continues to inch.
Actually gets the fancy feet there, but no more blinks available. No one could get back to payload. I mean, they were relying on Monk and Linkster to get the push on, and Spark tried to push too much further forward. They were trying to do a Guangzhou charge, but the wrong Zhou team. Spark now out of ult, is waiting for their own EMP. Good stick by Viper.
A massive one. That's a fairly fast build ult expended. They still hold on to both of these support ultimates. Langsa waits to rejoin. It's going to be a minute and 10 seconds now remaining for the Hangzhou Spark. Shy desperately tries to get this next EMP up. 7% away, but Flood is dead.
Oh, that's a solo kill.
The Shy just burns him down. The Nano is available. They could have bailed him out with any number of things, but now it's going to be Gangnam Jin antied out with the rally rolling, just trying to stay alive, but it's not going to happen.
The rally's gone.
He's too dead as well. Here's now investing the Nano, but it's on the Viper. He drops down. He will be able to find Shy. That does at least take away the EMP from the fight. Gushway down to his sliver. Pops the bubble. He's getting healed up by his cohorts here. The support's keeping him alive in the mix, but eventually Hisu rejoins. The pressure a bit too overwhelming. They find the punish. They find the Fleta as he is primaled up. Viper going to be traded out by Leave. Pulse bomb. Let loose. No kill to be found. Right here on the lengths, trying to stay alive. The EMP now comes through. Fleta going to fall. Hisu has one of his own. Drops it in. Catches 3. Leaf somehow stays alive. And now Gushway rejoins. The primal rolling. Dives in. They clear it out. They get the push across. And the Hangzhou Spark. I mean, it's hard fought by the Shanghai Dragons there on that final defense. But in the end, it is the Hangzhou Spark taking another series. It's a 3-0 back-to-back here in the opening day.
It's a good day to be a Zhou fan. Whether you're the Guangzhou Charge or the Hangzhou Spark, they'll both be able to take out what in 2021 were like kind of the best teams, right? Shanghai and Dallas both having rough starts to the 2023 season. But versus the super team of the Hangzhou Spark, I mean, I think this was the expected result of the day. You could say that the Dynasty Infernal result, maybe that one was a little hard to call because we didn't have super tons of information on those types of teams, and had a little bit of murmurings about Infernal, but not that much. And for the Guangzhou Charge, that was a completely unexpected result. But this one, if you were going to look at the pick'ems, you were probably going to see a lot of people putting in the 3-0 for the Spark beating the Shanghai Dragons for good reason. The only map that was even reasonably close was our final one on Havana, and that was mostly because I don't think Spark are that practiced or that confident on their brawl compositions. You don't get to put Leave on his best heroes. You're also, it's also just the wrong map. I mean, outside of the spawn camp, the Rhine comp doesn't give you a lot to work through for the rest of the map. You get past the gas station. The Sigma is superior. I think Flatter at least kind of redeemed himself on that pick.
Sure.
Hangzhou Spark had the option of substituting in Elsa. They didn't do that, and that's why the map was still closer. But then you move back over towards Dive, and it's good for Spark again.
Yeah, very good from him. Just many a clutch play, and Hangzhou Spark find their footing there at the very end, able to close it out. It's just some of these little mistakes, these micro mistakes coming through from the Shanghai Dragons, costing them what could have very well been a one map and extending the series. You know, that nano, the end of the fight after they already lose out on multiple people, the C9 moving off the cart. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and talk about our player of the match. I think, you know, this one was a bit up in the air for me. I personally was going with Gushue, but leave another fantastic candidate, of course, because, I mean, he started things off and he was just very much back in his MVP form off the rip.
I tell you what, it was Gushue, but then he ran a pulse bomb to Ling, so I was like, no, okay, give it to Leave. You got to give it to Leave after that. So, you know, fair enough.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I'm making it up, obviously. I'm not making up the part where he ran the pulse bomb into his teammate. That was real. But when you look at the stats across the board, Leave was the top fragger in the lobby all 3 maps running. The last map, he did go equal shy 11-11 apiece, but on every other map, Leave was absolutely out-fragging everybody on their team. 2021 MVP caliber, coming back in 2 years later after a pretty shocking year on the Chengdu Hunters. Now on the Hangzhou Spark, he's looking back to his old self.
Very much. I mean, the double dives to the Winstons once he was playing that Echo as well. Gorgeous to see. Just right at home, whether it was the Tracer, even the Ashe here putting up some nice highlight plays at the very end. Leaf had a whale of a time. And clearly, I think some things to be worked on when it comes down to, you know, Gushue and expanding his hero pool, trying to get him onto things such as the Reinhardt and find some more comfort. We saw some very slow build times, but when it comes down to this DPS lineup, you don't have to have any concerns at all if you're a Hangzhou fan. And if you're not a Hangzhou fan, you have a lot to be scared of, because these guys cover all of the bases, they check all of the boxes, and they both looked great today.
This stat line is very important. Final blows per 10, 10.2. This is the golden standard of like elite tier gameplay for DPS. If you look across stats, and I know this because in 2021, for the entire season, over the whole season, Lee was the only player in the entire league. This is what contributed to his 2021 MVP season. The only player in the whole league to get 10 final blows per 10 across the whole season. So that's the golden standard. And if you actually look back at a lot of the player of the matches, especially when it's DPS, POTMs, look at the NA games as well, very rarely do you actually see a DPS player get 10 or more final blows per 10 as a stat line. If you get 10 final blows per 10 as a stat line, you're playing out of your mind. That's an insane stat.
I mean, that's nuts, but he's also at 1.6 deaths per 10 minutes. So the guy is killing you all the time, and you're never getting the punish on him. An incredible performance there from Leave. And yeah, I think after taking a look at this, very much deserved, though. I still will give that shout to Gushue, because he also had a very strong performance from the outset, coming out on that Winston. And, I mean, for Shanghai, it's just unfortunate, you know? You draw this Chinese super team, this squad that looks stacked from head to toe, and they very much showed that the rumors were true. You know, this is a team to be feared. We'll go ahead and take a look back at the results on the day, though, as we started things off with a very close series, a giga-banger, if you will, with the Soul Bowl, the Bibimbap Brawl, as I like to call it, with Dynasty narrowly being able to take the series away from the Infernal. Really came down to those last 2 rounds on Oasis, where they were able to go from, you know, down 99% all the way up to 100, pretty much back to back. And then we had a pleasant surprise from the Guangzhou Charge, delivering a very dominant 3-0, and then this more expected 3-0 victory here from the side of the Hangzhou Spark. The Shanghai Dragons continue to tool around with this roster and, you know, find their footing.
This is one of those times you bring up the fact that, well, it's a long season, so it's only day number 1 for the Shanghai Dragons, which means they've got a ton of time to work through. The only thing that you don't want to have happening is to repeat that same conversation several months down the line. You know, you get into the second stages after mid-season, you're like, well, it's a lot less time now to work through Shanghai. It's, you know, we're hoping for a little bit more. We heard rumors that Shanghai were not doing well in scrims, and well, certainly versus the Hangzhou Spark, that's going to end up being true. But Dallas to Shanghai starting out on the bottom of the standings today, with both the Joe teams, Guangzhou Charge and Hangzhou Spark, rounding out number 1 equal.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the Battle of the Zhous, once that comes up once again, it seems like that could be another, you know, giga-banger series that we previously haven't really gotten to look forward to. Maybe a little bit in the past, It's very rarely where we look at those two teams and we're like, oh yeah, this is going to be the match that you have to watch. And I'm happy to say that it's trending in that direction.
And we've got the showdown, we've got the Soul Bowl. I don't have one. I mean, dude,
we don't have the orange chicken bowl anymore.
Which, yeah, the spaghetti bowl, that's gone. Still got some fun ones in there. Shanghai versus Dynasty, in terms of that old matchup, the most storied matchup in Overwatch League history, is going to be very different in the future. But taking a look at our future matches, Dallas just lost 0-3 versus Hangzhou Charge, and now they have to go up against a very frightening Hangzhou Spark. And dare I say, I mean, on paper, Hangzhou Spark should be even better than the Guangzhou Charge. The Guangzhou Charge are already looking damn fine. The Soul Infernal would like to bounce back from their 0-1 start versus a weak-looking Shanghai Dragons.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, for the side of the Soul Infernal, if you're not walking away with that series being a somewhat clean victory, then you're probably going to start having some concerns. But given what we saw today, it seems like they should be well suited to it. For me, the big question is, you know, Dallas Fuel, how did they respond after this loss? Because we've seen them have slow starts in the past. You know, you think about last season, I believe, dropping their opening series to the Houston Outlaws. We had the Texas Showdown and everything. And then obviously they went on to become champions. So can that happen again with a slightly different roster? Yep. It's going to be the big question. So we'll have to wait until next week to find that out. But I mean, as always, a very fun time. It's great to be back. And yeah, you know, hopefully you guys could, you know, were able to bear with us through some of the issues that we had here today. But I think overall it was a fun day.
And I would say, like, oh, that sounds like some Dallas coat, but truthfully, they do actually often lose their opening match. That actually does happen, like, every single time. It's incredible how.
So does Shanghai.
But it's true. And Shanghai also, do they? I think they also they did last year. They lost their opening match was versus Fusion, I believe, and they lost that one. So it happens. I guess it does happen, but yep. You know, the future games is gonna be where we get to really settle it. But as we sort of mentioned there, Dallas don't get any easier games moving forward because their next match is versus Hangzhou, who look insane. But it's been a good start. This is the only day, by the way, for the Eastern broadcast for APAC. We just get the one day, so you want to see these teams again, you have to literally wait a whole week.
Yeah, unfortunate as it is, but it's the way that the cookie crumbles. I will leave this parting gift to the Shanghai Dragons fans as a little bit of something to feel happy about at the end of it all, and it's not related to the gameplay too much, but did find out as we were going into Havana that our head observer in Korea is Ding, formerly of the Shanghai Dragons, and I hadn't known that, so that's good. So his success lives on, whether he's spectating Shanghai's loss or not. But I don't know. I guess you could feel good about that if you've been following the squad for a while. But anyway, that's going to do it from us. NA is going to be coming up later, so make sure you tune into as always, the lesser region. But we'll be right back here next week to bring you guys more APAC action. So we hope to see you then. Love yous. Bye.